Good evening, everyone. This is Joe Montalvo from Writers of the Future. We're hanging out in Los Angeles right now, talking about to all the winners for the illustrators and authors for Writers of the Future. There's some great people. Later this week, we'll be talking with the judges and some of the people here that are just here. And also, I'll be talking to John and Emily's staff and Writers Galaxy Press's staff in a few days. So y'all get to know the whole family who are actually insane as I am, which is a great thing. But anyway, Phoebe, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm having fun. I can tell you that much.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
fun.
these working vacations actually turn out to be fun sometimes.
Right?
It's a lot of good people, a lot of good conversations I've been hearing, a lot of good stuff I've been talking about. A lot of talented people here,
Pretty
both
amazing
in the
people.
winners and everybody else. I mean, some of the judges amaze me at how much money they made, and a couple of them don't want to say anything, but when you go see what the credits are, we got what the guy from Dunes here. We've got Kinder Game here and a couple others besides it. There's some big movies that the people are here. So, I was thinking about that a little earlier. That's something else they do. They do the pre-drafts for scripts. They do the artwork for them. And yeah, I know some people. It's more. I hate to call it artwork. To me, it feels more like sketching. But they use a lot of it in Hollywood. And they need a lot of people to do it because we're in Hollywood. There's 5 million idiots here, so they're looking for good talent. Now, hey, Hollywood, don't give me trouble. You can't say I'm lying. That's why we have Silicon Valley down here because we got a bunch of idiots in the rest of the town. And it's not just your city; it's a bunch of other cities. I'm just not hating. But if you be how many talent? How did you get? How did you? Well, first off, what got you into artwork to illustrate?
Um, I've always loved drawing and anything craft wise as a kid. And I don't think I ever wanted to say I never said like I want to be an artist. I've always just been drawn to anything that's crafting or drawing. And then in undergrad, I actually did a bunch of theater and film courses because I was loving that area as well. Um, but then when I had taken a drawing class, I'm like, that's where I lose myself the most. I think just you lose track of time and
Yeah.
you just kind of get in the zone. And I'm like, I want to just be able to draw, and I
I
love
understand.
stories, so it seemed like a natural fit.
I can understand it when I rarely script shows, but when I do script them, I just kind of lose myself in.
It's a
When
cool feeling.
when we used to do full blown news shows, it was all scripted, but we kind of got away from that because scripts get you in trouble sometimes. But so where are you going? Where you plan on headed with this? Freelance? Going to work
Um,
for somebody? Or,
Freelance would be the ideal, I think. I'd love to write and illustrate my own stories, like for a variety of ages. And I also am interested in children's books. I think they're just some amazing
good
stories in
market.
that realm. Yeah, and I just love the different places like art and illustration can take you. So working for a variety of clients on different kinds of
It'd be
projects.
more challenging, be more fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's probably most of the great illustrators and probably most of the great authors are independents. Because when you work for a company, a lot of times you get held back, or sometimes your artwork would be moved up to somebody else's so they can
Mhm.
look at it and change it a bit, and then they'll get credit. You'll get under credit, but they'll get full credit, which is BS. So they're probably making double your salary, and you're doing most of the work. So it's one of the things, but sometimes you have to work because you got to pay the bills, you got to eat, you got to
Yeah.
feed yourself and stuff like that. You might want to go out occasionally, buy me a new shirt or something. I can only steal something to write in the future shirts, but it is a good way to go. Freelance is probably a better way of doing it. I just I know a couple of artists that have they were working and freelancing at the same time, which takes up a lot of your time. But they like it because, like Bruce tells me, he's a freelance artist in New Orleans. He tells me all the time he gets very challenged. He's doing something for steamship companies right now. He just got through doing something for the airlines, and just before that, he was doing something for one of the cream companies.
Okay.
And he said to him, he says it's not very challenging. He says it's pretty easy, this basic stuff, but they love it and they pay him big money for it. Most of his single drafts sell for 10 grand, full drafts sell for 50. So like what he did for Carnation was full drafts, so it was 200 grand. And this year he's going to probably make close to $700,000. He started out. He started his first 5 years. He'll tell you he's very easy about because he actually teaches a course in New Orleans. He said, "Oh no, I starved for 5 years." He said, "I was begging in a French Quarter, give me some quarters, man." I remember he was trying to sell artwork on Bourbon Street and got arrested. And nobody wants to see artwork on Bourbon Street. That's not what they're there for. They're there to get drunk and look at other stuff. They're not worried about your artwork. You have to do that on the square. But he finally got his first sale, and then you get a second, then you third, and that's got a good client base. I think he's got about 40 customers.
Nice.
Regular customers, probably got another 20 sporadic, so he's good. So that's a good way. It's a good way to go. Children's books, like I was saying earlier, it makes a ton of money. So I mean, if you can get into that, and I know it takes a little bit more thought because it's got to be a little bit more age appropriate, but still, and there's a lot of money in it. And remember, just not that. Places like Sesame Street, stuff like that, are always looking for drafters to do certain things for them, or create new characters or things like that. Also, there's a big thing going on in Marvel and DC because they're having a rival. They're looking for people for new ideas. So they're asking people to illustrate a new character with like a byline underneath what the character basically is. It don't have to be so much as a superhero. But, you might want to draft a girl or this or that. Whatever you feel comfortable with drafting, they're looking for stuff like that because Marvel's last movie was a big ass flop. And let's be honest, DC's last three, Wonder Woman did pretty well, but Batman was not great. Neither was Superman. They weren't bad movies, but they didn't make that kind of money. And with Marvel crashes, it's got them in a position where they're trying to recreate themselves to stay up with the time. They just got to figure out how to do it. And changing regular characters seems to be pissing everybody off, so they're asking for character development. And it's easier. The writers tell me it's easier to develop a character when it's artwork in front of their face. They can write out a character, but they would rather say, "Hey, what would you do with this?" And then somebody will make a complete character out of it. So I've been seeing a lot of that going on. I've been seeing that a lot going on. And like I was saying earlier, a lot of game companies are looking for artists and more illustrators. I hate to say artists because it's really more illustrating than it's art. I mean, it's all the same. We can all lump it under art, but it's a little bit different. So there's all those venues. So where do you hope to be in 10 years?
Well, like I said, writing and illustrating my own stories would be ideal, like for a variety of ages. I kind of like the ones that maybe defy a certain age group because I love coming across adult ones that are illustrated, which there are more, but they're few and far between. So, but then again, I love the stories that really affect us as children too, and I think those really impact people, and it would be really cool to be a part of that.
Submit a story to writers next year.
Oh, I don't know about that, Sue. My writing skills are definitely not amazing.
The writing course is great. I'll tell you what. I'm a non-writer, but the writing course really is. It's taught me a lot about filling in plans and stuff like that. Sure. I was doing an interview with Rachel Maddow, and I was picking on her because she had done Donald Trump's tax returns. And I asked her, I said, was there somebody on the side doing this? Because she was kind of stumbling. I never really heard her stumble before. And she goes, yeah, Jody, we're trying to make me stretch it out for an hour. And it was like 5 minutes worth of materials. So, but she also told me they have a lot of stuff they use. They use people to illustrate new designs for sets, new designs for different things. See, people sometimes don't really realize what art is. It goes everywhere in our country. Mm-hmm. When you see a stage set up, somebody designed it. And they didn't let Joe Blow, a contractor, do that. They wanted an illustrator to do that. They want somebody to design the set, the color scheme, the whole 9 yards. And then they'll hire somebody that need to come build the damn thing. But that's what they want. And they pay good money for that kind of stuff. There's so many venues for illustrators and artists to get into these days. It's a much more open market than it used to be. And again, 7 billion people to send to now. So don't ever forget, you can always submit art overseas. And especially if you got a favorite country like France or Germany or Italy or somewhere you want to go hang out, maybe Greece. Send a bunch of artwork over there. I could just spend a year or two over there. I know my nephew, who's a billionaire now, he actually uses illustrators for a lot of stuff. He's an environmental lawyer, and he uses illustrators to illustrate the damage to the environment. He pays them big, usually $50 to $100 grand.
Awesome.
And it's artwork. I hate to call it artwork. It is artwork, but it's illustrating a point is what it is. So he'll talk to you, say, I need this, and this, and then you put it out, and he takes it to court. He said, well, he'll have whatever the statement is, and then he'll have the artwork next to it, the illustration of it, and that helps the judges. It also helps the prosecutors and all the defendants. It's just it's an easier way to, because some people absorb things better visually. I like to see and hear things, so it's easier for me that way. Reading, I don't absorb as much as if I'm listening to it and watching. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people like that in America now, around the world for that matter. So they want visualization, so that's a good place to be. So being a freelance, there's a lot of options for you. And I tell people, don't hold back. Try all of them. You might find when you really like, you might find like, oh my God, I'm never doing that again. But it's just one of the things. So Everybody's treating you good here. You have a good time.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like the lectures, workshops have been incredible, and I love meeting all the other illustrators that came. Like it's been so fun to chat with them and
It's a
being in
great
that
group.
artistic community. But yeah, everyone's been amazing.
I gotta say, I've been quite impressed with the camaraderie amongst everybody. It's been really nice to see. I've been watching everybody talking and sitting and working with each other since a lot of these people didn't know each other, a couple of weeks back. So it's really nice to see it. It actually says a lot for where we might be headed in the future. If you watch regular television, you think we're all about to fall off a cliff. But if you came here and watched what was going on here, you wouldn't think that. You would think, oh no, there is a lot of hope for what's going to happen. Because there's two generations really represented here, millennials and Z's. And there's a couple of, what's the next one up? I can't even remember what the hell it is. So there's the baby boomers, and the one in between the millennials and the Z's. Both between the millennials and baby boomers, there's a few of them represented here.
Yeah, there's
There's a lot of baby boomers, but most of them are judges and stuff like that. They're not really newbies. I think there's one newbie that was kind of older. But still, man, I mean, y'all got y'all's whole life ahead of y'all. There's a lot of stuff you can get into. So don't be scared. Grab the bull by the horns and go for the ride, because what's the worst anybody can do is tell you no.
Exactly.
If that's the worst anybody can tell, oh, well, sorry, we didn't like your artwork, or it doesn't fit what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And now firms and companies have to be more polite about it because they can be sued for it. So it's usually a letter like, thank you for your submission, but it's not what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually very polite. But they'll also tell you resubmit in the future, or if you hear a program. Just recently, one of the big companies in New Orleans is designing a new building, and they wanted certain types of artwork done inside the building. So they had the locals submit different designs from it. So they actually gave you the blueprints of well, it wasn't even really blueprint, it was a little something different, but they gave you the layout so you could see where they wanted the artwork, the space, and the whole 9 yards. And as they were building the building, they were bringing the artists in and letting them work to see how their artwork was working. The cheapest mural in there was $100,000. That was the cheapest. One lady got 5 of them. She made over $1 million. And they're beautiful. I mean, they're stunning. Of course, one of them she did was on a ceiling. She must have been laying on the scaffolding for a week doing it. But it was beautiful. It's a great piece of artwork. Kind of reminds me of the 16 Chapel almost. It was just a great piece of work. So, favorite venue? Painting?
Oh, favorite medium? Like to
favorite medium,
I love working with ink and watercolor, gouache as well. So a lot of traditional stuff, but I do enjoy digital too. So sometimes I try to combine the two, and then a lot of times I go back and forth. But I do always come back to traditional, just because I love the feel of the.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little hard these days to get away from digital, but most people. Well, there's a guy in the city who does monogram posters. He does them all in oil first. So the oils are very collectible because he'll sell 100,000 posters, 50,000 posters. They pay him good money. He gets a percentage of the sales. He keeps the oil. So right now he's got a collection of 25 years of these posters he's done for the cities of New Orleans. The original oils are probably worth $500,000 each now.
Oh, that's crazy.
So he's got the one with the devil. He's got the devil with his hand on the angel's arm. Things like that. That even the poster sells for $50. And if they're framed, they're $100. So it's just a whole new venue of art. And a lot of cities now put on parades, put on other things that they're looking for postal representations. And so a lot of times they'll have you do it in oil, and then or it doesn't necessarily have to be in oil, but a lot of them do it in oil.
Yeah.
But it can be in several menus. Damn, tongue's getting twisted tonight. But as long as they can see it and get an idea of what the poster is going to look like, they're good to go. And then they'll do what they call a first run. So they're all limited edition, maybe 189 or something to sign limited edition. So those posters worth quite a bit. And then they do the regular one. Matter of fact, I got one at Battlefield. There's John sent me. It's signed 86th edition. Poster sells for $5,000. That's a poster. So but the artist did a lot of good work on it, and it's a good team. I don't want to overwhelm y'all because I know y'all already know a lot of this already, but there's just so many venues for y'all. Y'all actually have more venues to get in than writers do. Writers are kind of hemmed in to certain areas. They either got to be independent and hope for the best, or they've got to write for somebody big and hope for the best. Because just because you write for somebody, you don't need to make that much money. I've seen pretty good writers making less than 60 G's a year. In the old days, that was a lot of money. Today, that's especially living in California, New York, that's nothing. Anytime you live somewhere that's high economy, that's just no money When I was a kid, it was a lot of money. Today, it's like whatever. Maybe you look in one of the southern states or in the heartland states, it's probably still good money, but not in New Orleans, unfortunately. I mean, a condo in the city sells for a 400 square foot condo in the city sells for $1.5 million. So it's ridiculous how much things cost now. But even the city is looking for hard work. I mean, NOLA has they redo their advertisement designs about every 4 or 5 years, and they used to use a certain advertisement company, but now they have independent artists submit, and then they take those, and then they'll decide which one they want, and then they'll bring it to an advertisement company and have them do the run. Sometimes the advertisement company goes looking for the artists because they want to hire. Sometimes they just, some advertisement companies are ridiculously crazy, but still, it's money. But be sure you're just happy. The money, you'll get the money eventually. Just make sure it's something you really like to do.
Yeah.
Because I got to say, when I was working for everybody else, I was miserable. I was cranky, pissy all the time. I was working buku hours. I wasn't making the kind of money I should have been for it. Once I got my own business, I was just happy as could be. Even when I wasn't making any money, I was happy. And we still, like, for COVID, there was 1 year in COVID, I think the company, I think we each took $17,000 in salary. Now, we all had money in the bank, so it wasn't horrible, but still, for a company our size, make 17 grand. I mean, the station was beating it out. I was like, come on. And even our customers didn't know what to do with this. So we had like big feed companies and stuff like that. Coca-Cola, we do stuff for. And to see them pulling back so much money, I was kind of like, whoa. Now, the radio side was picking up because, everybody's bored out of their mind. And that's also, radio companies look for poster designs, ad designs. Don't forget, music industry is always looking for it. You might meet somebody famous.
Yeah, I'm sure. You never know.
I got a friend in Vegas that does artwork. He's a writer / artist. He's a better artist than he is a writer, but he does his own illustrations for his stuff, and he's quite happy with it. He makes a pretty good, decent money. He does work for Vegas too. He does some artwork for Vegas. He's actually designed some statues and stuff for him like that.
Cool.
So he's not. He doesn't do sculpture anymore. He designs the sculpture, so the sculpture can actually make it. Don't worry about it. In about 100 years, you'll just put something on your head and you'll make it. You just think about it, it'll start chiseling it out, or it'll start writing. Just give it time. Then I might be able to do something. Then I'll have to be reborn so I can come back and do some artwork. Where can they find you at?
My website is phoeberothfeld.com. So
This is easy.
yeah, just PHOEBEROTHFELD.com. And then I am on Instagram as well at p.airlia, AIRLIA. And yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me. So I don't say something that gets us in trouble.